yesterday we had a beautiful cultural display, and we were being greeted in various languages. But I noticed that Dr. Mwemba and Mrs. Totolo forgot one important group, Kiswahili speakers. Because I've noticed there are so many in this auditorium. And therefore I want to greet in Kiswahili. When I say mbele daima, you respond by saying nyuma kamwe. When I say mbele daima, you respond by saying nyuma kamwe. Okay, let's go. Mbele daima? Nyuma kamwe. Mbele daima? I've officially declared you to be Swahili speakers today. When I was invited for this convention, I was so scared because you are in the electioneering period. You know, some of us who come from Kenya, we know that when there are elections, there's a lot of fighting and war. But I was so surprised when I was in the airport, things were very calm, counting was being done, there was no fighting, and we really appreciate the civilized democracy here in South Africa. And I believe you voted. If you didn't vote, then you're not helping this country. I want to bring you greetings from Mario, Pastor Mario. I believe you know him very well. The little hole and the frog. Do you remember the story? Yes. He has sent a lot of greetings. Greetings from Sergio. Sergio is our finance director. He has sent you greetings. Have you received? And of course the whole Safeliz family. I want to thank Dr. Mwemba, who organized this beautiful convention. Actually, this is one of the best in Africa. You go to several places, LEs sleep on the floor, there's no good food, but here the accommodation is excellent, and we are also eating very well. And I want to thank Dr. Mwemba for that, and the whole team. I also want to thank Elizabeth. I call her my guru. She started training me when I was working at HHES in our union in the year 2006, so I've learned a lot from her. Thank you for coming. And I want to thank all of you, all the elders present. I know the work you're doing is quite challenging, but I want to thank you for choosing this work. Sister White says that this is a work second to none, and no any other person can do this work apart from you. And I want to congratulate you for choosing this one. We are praying for you. At Safeliz, we spend some time praying for your ministry. Every day, in the office, we stop twice a day, just praying for your work in the field. Because we know the challenges that you're facing out here. Now, before I continue, I want to just invite my sister Elizabeth just to make one small statement. If there is a mic there, just a short statement, then I'll continue.
Thank you, Isaac. It is a pleasure always to share our time together. He says that I taught him, but I think we taught each other. We traveled around together a lot in Kenya, training literature evangelists, so it's always good to be together. And since we like to be together, a lot of you have been asking me about these little implements, pens. Don't worry. Please come and see us after the meeting, and then we will share them together as well. We were not sure how many people were going to be here, so we have pooled our resources, so you see that publishing houses are working together. We're not competitors. We are working together to make the most and to provide for you. So come and see us after the meeting, and the leaders, please identify yourselves as well, because we have something different for the publishing directors, associate publishing directors, and publishing leaders as well. Okay, so make yourself known to us, and all of you will get one of these. Thank you, amen.
Thank you, Sister Elizabeth. Now, in an institutional convention like this, we basically come to learn from you. We basically come to get feedback from the market, because you are the ones who are in the market. And we do very little presentation because of the time is so limited. And I will take the shortest time possible, hopefully less than an hour. I will try to squeeze in the next 30 or 45 minutes to finish my presentation. I will not do a detailed book presentation, but hopefully I will organize with the leaders and and come to the ground so that we can unpack some of these books and give you some techniques on how you can present these books and make them move. Because those who've done sales, we are told that if you know your product, if you understand your product, you are almost 80 to 90% successful already.
Amen.
Just knowing it. If I'm selling a phone, just understanding my phone alone, knowing its features, contributes almost 90% of my success. So the 10% is the talking and the presentation. So we'll spend some time on the ground and unpack some of these books. Now, about Safeliz, you need to understand your product, you need to understand also about the publisher. I also noticed that some of you are unable to know which books are from Safeliz, which books are from Stanboro, which books are from Vidasana, and other publishing houses. Now, Safeliz is a division publishing house. Those who know the structure of the church, we have a division called the Euro-Africa Division. It is a division publishing house, and we are distributing. Yes, we changed the name recently because part of the Africa was taken by the General Conference, like Egypt, in Libya, I believe so. So it is called now Inter-European Division, headquarters in Switzerland. And we publish or we distribute our books all over the world. If you move across the 13 divisions of the world, you will find books from Editorial Safeliz. And therefore, we call ourselves an international publishing house. We've distributed our books in over 30 languages and thousands of copies across the whole world. Many a times we say we specialize on health books. Now, the health books are to enable you open doors. Just to enable you open doors, then you pump in a lot of spiritual materials. But I know some of us, we forget. We sell more of health and forget about spiritual materials. I want to encourage you, use these books, the health books that we have, to enable you establish relationships. Then you bring in a lot of spiritual material. You bring in Bible study. Don't forget that. Because our mission, our ultimate goal is to save souls. Are you getting my accent? You know, Kenyans, we have a different accent. But I try to speak slowly so that you may be able to get me. So we specialize a lot on health books. But due to the constant demand from the market, we are now trying to introduce the spiritual line. But our specialization is on health books. Are we together? But there is a lot of materials coming from Stanboro, a lot of materials coming from Pacific Press, Review and Herald, spiritual materials which are very relevant for our market. And therefore, we encourage you to use some of these materials and don't entirely distribute health books. Now, briefly, at Safeliz, we have classified our books into around 6 classifications or groups. Now, why do we have group or classify our books? 2 main reasons. One, books in the same category bear similar characteristics, similar features. I will explain that as we go on. Number 2, books in the same classification or group address similar theme. Do you understand what's a theme? Overall theme. Now, you'll understand that as I go on. I will start with the first classification. These are the books we call Health and Education Library. Health and Education Library. Health and education for the whole family, for everybody. Now in that category we have, we call them encyclopedia, the 3 encyclopedia. This presentation of course is more relevant to the new literature evangelists. I believe the champions, the seniors, you've been told this several times. Elizabeth told you this, Maria told you this, now I'm telling you this. We only have 3 books in that category, Encyclopedia of Health and Education for the Family, which is simply the anatomy and physiology of the male and the female. Are we together? Simple. Anatomy and the anatomy and physiology of the male and the female. And the formation of the male and the female. How male are different from the female. Now in that book, we have also mentioned around 400 diseases. Diseases which are peculiar to the male and diseases which are peculiar to the female. Are we together? In that same book, we've also talked about maternal function, pregnancy, childbearing, and the nutrition for the little children. Are we together? In that same book, we've also given you the conventional methods on how you can handle such conditions, and of course, the natural remedies. And the second one, because I don't have time, I'm just brushing through, there's a few books that I'll talk about. The second one is Encyclopedia of Foods and Their Healing Powers. 3 volumes. Have you been selling it? Yes. In that book, we have presented over 700 foods, and the foods have been categorized according to diseases or the systems of the body. Which foods are good for the eyes, which foods are good for the heart, which foods are good for the digestive system, the reproductive system, or the brain. We have grouped those foods together. And in that same book, we have also mentioned around 150 common diseases, how you can prevent and contain those diseases. When I talk about a system, I also refer to diseases that affect the system. Are we together? All are in that book, and we have also given you around 300 recipes. Now, you must understand the difference between a food and a recipe. Food is ready to eat. Are we together? A recipe is how you prepare the food. If I talk of bread, bread is a food. But the recipe, I will share with you how you prepare the bread so that it's edible. Now, we only mentioned around 300 recipes in one of the volumes. But what is important in that book, we have grouped the foods according to the diseases or the systems of the body. The final one we have in that category is Encyclopedia of Medicinal Plants. Now, in this book, we have mentioned over 470 plants. Now, the plants are also grouped according to the organs or the systems of the body, or rather the diseases. We have mentioned the diseases and which plants can help you contain those books. Now, if you are very keen enough, you will realize that all those books are the same size. Are we together? So one of the characteristics is that they bear similar features. If you put them in the library, they display beautifully, same size. So that if your client buys a whole set, you tell them that you're buying a library on health and education because they display beautifully. Are we together? So that is one of the classifications we have. The second classification we have the new lifestyle series. Now, here we have several books that I know you have been selling. We have enjoyed it. We have less stress. We have adolescents. All those books. Now, we have started revising some of these books. I believe you must have started seeing the new covers of these books. Have you seen the new cover of Healthy Foods? Do you like it? And you realize that the design is almost the same. Because we want you to present them as a set. Don't present one book. Present all these books as a set. If you meet Julia's Malema, you don't present one book. He's a very important person to meet. Present all the encyclopedia, all the new lifestyle series, all the life and health as a set. Because you'll never see him again. If you meet a minister, present all these books. Now, you realize that what we are doing currently is to redesign the books so that they bear similar design. If you look at the covers of these books, the new lifestyle series, do they look beautiful? Yes. They look the same, almost. We are changing the covers. Now we have changed the cover for healthy foods. We have changed the cover for adolescents. We have changed the cover free from addictions. It's a beautiful cover. We've changed the cover for feeling good. We have changed the cover. No, this one I'll talk about it later. We've changed the cover, photocopies, and several other books. Next time we receive orders, we receive the new designs. Now, what we're trying to achieve is that when your clients buy this book, the new lifestyle series, they display beautifully on the shelf with similar characteristics. Are we together? And you realize that they're the same size. So that when your clients put them on the shelf, they look beautiful. Are we together? So we are trying to help our clients to establish what we call home libraries. Now we have several books in that category, but there is one book that I will probably introduce today, the book on diabetes. Have you sold it here before? Now, you know one of the problems, the diseases that affect most people in the world is cancer and diabetes. Do you know that? And statistics show it. We are told that over 250 million people in the world suffer from diabetes. And we are told that on annual basis, we have new cases of diabetes of around 5%. And scientists are estimating that in the year 2025, over 380 million people will have diabetes. Are you going to be one of them? Is your client going to be one of them? We are presenting a book which can help you on how to prevent and control diabetes. We know it's not easy to treat diabetes, but you can easily manage diabetes and prevent it. Now, this book is new. This one is handmade. The final copy has just arrived in our stores last Friday, and we have now the beautifully bound copy, just like this. Now, this book gives us the natural methods we can use to manage or to prevent diabetes. In this book, we are told how the kind of plants we need to use, the phytotherapy, how we can use water, hydrotherapy, how we can use air, and the kind of foods we need to eat to manage diabetes. We have also gone and given you a bit of the conventional medicine, conventional methods, the kind of drugs you need to use to maintain or manage diabetes. Now, I'm not going to converse a bit about this book, but when we come to the ground, I will now unpack it. I will tell you on how you can present the book. Because when you understand the book, you can easily present it. And the techniques you can use to present this book on diabetes. Now, this book is available. It's available, and if we receive an order, you will get it. But the most important thing about this book are the methods that we have given in managing or controlling. We have given the scientific methods, the diets you need, the plants you need, the kind of exercises you need, and the conventional medicine, the drugs you buy from the pharmacies. Are we together? Book on diabetes. Do you think it will sell here? Are we South Africans suffering from diabetes? This book is available, and I believe you'll get it. In the same category, the new lifestyle series, we have introduced a book called Discover Your World. Have you sold this book here in South Africa? Have you seen it here in South Africa? Because it is new. Now, Max Moyo said it very clearly, I think on Friday, that many of us, we fail to reach or achieve our goals because we don't believe in ourselves. Do you remember that? Believing in you is what we call self-esteem. Now, this book addresses what we call self-esteem. Because many people are affected so much, many people are unable to do so many things in life, many people are unable to be successful in life because they don't believe in themselves. They have self-esteem problems. Now this book addresses self-esteem. Now we've tried to handle the issue of self-esteem in 3 different areas. One is self-esteem in your lifetime. At childhood, when you're in school or when your children are in school, how can they develop positive self-esteem? When you're growing old, when you become old, that age, we call it that age, eh? When you become very old, how do you develop self-esteem? We've also given you self-esteem from the point of relationships. How do you develop good or positive self-esteem in marriage? Amongst your peer. How do you develop self-esteem with your friends and neighbors? Then finally, we have tackled self-esteem from the point of workplace. How do you develop self-esteem or positive self-esteem with your colleagues at work? What about you as MDs? How do you relate to one another? So we have addressed self-esteem from those great perspectives. And finally, we've also given you, or we have mentioned, a chapter on techniques to increase self-esteem. And finally, how the self-esteem enrichment plan, how you can enrich your self-esteem. If you want to achieve positive or good goals in life, if you want to be successful in life, you first of all believe in yourself. And that is what we call self-esteem. Now this book is doctored by Dr. Melgosa. I know you know him very well. He has written beautiful books which are selling across the whole world. We printed very few copies of this book, around 30,000 copies. Within 3 months, they are all finished. And now we are going for a reprint. We are going for a reprint of this book. I know in one union, they've ordered 10 pallets. You know, if I talk of 10 pallets, that is 8,000 copies of this book. Now, South Africa is going to order 20 pallets. This is a new book that is available, and we believe it will be successful also here in South Africa. No, the price, the office knows. Now, that is the category we call New Lifestyle Series. The rest of the books, you know, I'll not talk about them because of time. The other category is, before we go there, are the manga books. Do you know what's a manga book? You know what are manga books? Now, we are developing these manga books because a manga book is, it has the features of a magazine and a hardcover book. They are very cheap books. Almost a third, the prices are cheap, almost a third of hardcover books. Why do we develop these manga books? One, to help those who are unable to sell hardcover books. Number two, we are targeting the new literature evangelists. You know, if you recruit a new literature evangelist and he works the whole week or for 2 weeks without selling, he's going to quit. Do you know that? Because you know, canvassing these big books sometimes is very difficult. You must know the techniques on how to present them. If a new literature evangelist walks around for 2 weeks without selling, he will say, no, this one is very difficult. I can't continue. So we are providing very cheap books which you can easily sell, distribute as if you are selling magazines. Now what we have done, we have taken the hardcover books like the healthy foods and developed the manga form. So that we are also able to reach we call them these people, the ladies who sell small stuff on the street, or the hawkers, you know. Those who are unable to afford the big books, we can also reach them. These are very cheap books, but done with high quality. The paper we have used, very good quality, and we have tried to maintain the same content which is in the big book. This is Food That Heal. It's manga form of healthy foods. We have Plants That Heal. This is the manga form for healthy plants. We have Happy Couples. This is the megaphone for to couples. We have the megaphone of Steps to Happiness. Do you know what is this book? Steps to Christ. This is the megaphone. And finally, we know we've had the Great Hope Project, and soon we know we are going to have a new book, a new missionary book of the year. But we don't want the project to die. We have introduced the Great Controversy in megaphone, a future of hope, which we can sell to our clients when this missionary book or the missionary book project is over. We don't want the project to die. And that's why we have used the future of hope. This is a great controversy in megaphone. Now, so far, we have 5 mega books, but we are still continuing to develop some more so that we may have a variety of mega books for the whole market. The other category that we have, we call it life and health. I believe if you're very keen, you notice that all the books are the same size, huh? Yeah. Because we are trying to help your clients establish home libraries. Now, in this category, we have had around 3 books. You know Positive Mind very well. You know Healthy Body very well. This year, we introduced Enjoy Life. It was the end of last year. I believe you have been selling it. A book on retirement. A book on retirement, but not meant for the old people. Also meant for the young people like us. So when you are presenting this book, don't present it to the old people alone. Now this is a very powerful book. It's one of the success books that we have currently because it addresses the real challenges people face when they grow old. You know, one time when I was the treasurer of our publishing house, that was around 1999, our union president came for the end-year meetings. And when we were going through the budgets, they realized that one worker had reached retirement age, but we had put his name in the budget. In the church, there's something we call wage audit. It's where they write your name, your qualification, the years of service, and your age and your salary. They realized he had reached the retirement age, and therefore, they raised that concern with me. Why has he returned this so-and-so, and he has reached the retirement age? And we said, no, he's still strong, he can still continue. In that committee, they told us to recommend his retirement that same time. So we recommended and voted his retirement. And I was appointed to go and share with the worker and the editor at that time about the retirement, because he wasn't prepared. So we called him to the office and told him what the board had decided, that he was going for retirement. He didn't utter a word. He went, and we thought he appreciated what the board had done. In 2 weeks, the fellow started becoming sick. He was so sick. He developed funny diseases, skin rashes. He became sick. Within 2 years, he died. Why did he die very soon like that? Because he was not prepared for retirement. Now that is something that's affecting church members and affecting church workers. The first people we need to sell these books to are church workers. Because we are never ready for retirement. When somebody is due for retirement, he wants to be given extra year to work. When somebody is due for retirement, he tells you, no, I don't have a house, give me 2 more years so that I may build a house or buy a house. Or he tells you, I still have children who are going to school. Because we are not ready for retirement. Now, this is a book that will prepare you for retirement. Not only that, this is a book that will expose you to some of the medical conditions, the diseases that you will have when you grow old, so that you start preparing. This book will also show you ways through which you can help yourself contain those conditions when you grow old. This book will prepare you for the common abuses that elder people get. You know, there are also abuses that they get. The financial abuse, they are ever broke. They are waiting for money from their children. The loneliness, all the children have gone. You are alone in the house. That is an abuse. And some of them also experience physical abuse. Do you believe in that? So those are kind of situations that the elderly people undergo, and we are trying to prepare ourselves for that. We've also given you a beautiful chapter on how nutrition can help you also live longer and better. What kind of food do you need to eat when you are old? You know, the way you eat when you are very old is not the way you eat when you are still very strong and young. Are we together? You know, the kind of food you eat, when you will tell me the kind of food you need to eat is not the same kind of food that I need to eat who is still very energetic and running. Are we together?
Yes.
In this book also, it exposes you to how social environment, a good social environment, can make you live longer and better. And more so, how spirituality, how good spiritual life can make you live longer and better. Is it a book that is selling? Maybe when I come down, we'll unpack it. We'll unpack it and show you how you can present this book. Now, in the same category, we are introducing a new book because of the request we had from the market. This is handmade. We made this by hand, but the final copy will look beautiful like this. This book has also arrived, Healthy and Strong. It's a new book that is available. On nutrition, on the mothers when they're pregnant and the children up to adolescence. Now, when I was reading this book, when I was reading the manuscript, I realized that even the men and their spouses, when you're planning to get a child, there is special kind of food you need to eat. Not like me, when I was getting my first child, all of a sudden we realized that my wife was expected. We didn't prepare ourselves. There's special kind of food you need to eat, your spouse will need to eat when you are planning to have children. What kind of foods do you eat when you are pregnant? What kind of food do you give your child or the nursing stage? You know what's nursing stage? Yes. When you're still breastfeeding. And the complementary feeding, when you are weaning, you know weaning? When you are introducing your child to the naan and the cow milk and things like that. And what kind of foods do you need to provide to your child when they are growing up, they are starting to run, they are breaking things in the house? And what kind of foods do you need to give your children when they are in the teenagers? Now, we have handled nutrition. From the time you are planning to have children to the time your child is adolescent. Your child has hit the age of the teenager. Because at that age, they need a lot of snacks. They want to eat ice cream, they want to eat this, they want to eat biscuits. These are guides on how best you can provide best meals and nutrition for your family members. Are we together? Now this book is out. Because of that, I'm not going to canvas it today, but hopefully I will get time on the ground to canvas this book to you. It's going to be in the same category as life and health. If you're very keen, you will notice that the design of these books are the same. And they are of the same size. So that when your clients buy, they display beautifully on the shelf. The second last category that we have, the children's section, we call it Safeliz Kids. Elizabeth, we have Safeliz Kids. Now, in that category, we have introduced some nice little books for our children. I believe you have been selling the pop-up books. The pop-up books, we call them pop-up. Have you been selling them? You know, these are now books meant for the children because they're beautiful. They see the 3D images, and you as a parent, you read for your children. But my interest is not in these books. I wanted to introduce the series that we have been going with, the Making Friends series. You know the big book, the 7-volume Making Friends. We have been introducing new books year by year. At the seventh series, or the 7 volumes, we brought in Amazing Nature. Are you selling it? Yes. Is it moving? Is it moving? Oh, we'll show you how to sell it when we come to the ground. We also introduce nature's amazing migration. Are you selling it?
Yeah.
This year, we have introduced a book which I failed to carry because it arrived late after I left. Life of Insects. The same series. Life of Insects. Now we came from the 7-volume Making Friends, where life begins, like the famous friends, the environment one, the Jesus, my famous friend, Jesus, friend of the children. Yeah, that series. Then now we came to Amazing Nature, we came to Nature's Amazing Migration. Now we are in the life of insects. When I come to the ground, I will come and share with you how some LEs are canvas in these books, this series. And it is so powerful that I got so moved how some LEs are able to serve the amazing nature, the nature's migration, and hopefully they are also going to serve life of insects. I will share with you that when I come to the ground. Now in that series also, we know we have discovered the Bible. I know you sell it both in Afrikaans and English. What I wanted to stress about the Making Friends series and Discover the Bible, these are books not meant for the children. Are you getting me? When you are presenting these books, don't present them as books meant for the children, but books meant for the parents and the children. If you are very keen enough, if you look at Amazing Nature or Nature's Amazing Migration, we have pockets of literature. Small pockets of literature and more illustration. And the language that is used is not a language that can be understood by a 3 years old child or a 4 years old child. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
These books, the parents are supposed to read and explain for their children. Because we have noticed that in the African setup, we hardly spend time with our children. We are always very busy. And therefore, we are giving our clients materials that are going to enable them to have time with their children. We want to develop bond between parents and their children. And therefore, we are introducing a material that is also interesting to the parent and also to the child. Are you getting me? Now, if you read about Amazing Nature, let me just give an example. We were discussing with Andrian and Chris about the spider web. You know, scientists have discovered that the spider web is very strong, more than even a steel. The spider web, you know spider web? It is so strong, more than a metal. And scientists have found that when you put that web, you put the web for a Boeing plane, 737 or 787 plane, the plane can go through. But if you put a simple metal for even a small car, it will crash it. This is what scientists have found. Do we learn that in school? Do we learn that in school? No. But there are interesting things that even the parents will endure in for the child. You know, I always spend a lot of time reading this for my children. The other day, we were talking about the eagle. You know the eagle? You know the eagle, God made it in such a way that it has very sharp eyes. It can spot a mouse, a small mouse on the ground, and it is 2 kilometers away. But if I tell Lagadenga to read for me this area, it's very close, he won't read. He will not be able to read. I tell my children about the elephant. The elephant is so sensitive and so sharp that it can know if it is raining or if there is a storm 50 kilometers away. 50 kilometers away, the elephant is here, and the elephant knows that it is raining. You know how they know? You know when it rains, there are vibrations on the ground. Huh? Those vibrations pass on the ground, and the elephant feels that from the hoof. And it goes to the brain, and it knows that it is raining. Do you learn those in school? You know, there are interesting things that also the parents will enjoy reading for their children. That is one of how we have designed these books for the children. So that as a parent, you also enjoy, you learn a lot. At the same time, your children also appreciate nature. That God designed everything that we see. Are we together? So when we're presenting these books, we need to be very careful and know that these books are not for the children, but for both the parents and the children, because of the language that we have used in them. Now, because I promised that I'll finish very fast, we'll spend time when I come to the ground to discuss more. In the last category, we have now the spiritual books. We have introduced what we call the missionary books. We call it missionary books in our setup. Now, I know we have not been selling those books here in South Africa, but we have Steps to Christ, a small Steps to Christ. I didn't bring it with me. We have a very beautifully illustrated Steps to Christ, small book. Have you seen it, gentlemen? I have sent some samples here in South Africa, but I know you're not selling it. That's a subscription book. Steps to Christ, small, beautifully illustrated. We have also introduced a book called Facing Suffering. Now, Facing Suffering is a book that we had made for the Literature Evangelist, but the General Conference came and took it, and now we are sending it to the workers. But I know it's going to be a one-year project. We are giving it to the workers free. Hopefully from next year, it will come to the Literature Evangelist. Facing Suffering. And finally, Science Discovers God is a book that we have. These are spiritual books we are trying to introduce because of the demand in the market. As I mentioned, our specialty is health books. But these books are to enable us to open doors. Let us not reach there. Let us pump in more materials. Now, to make your work easier, we are trying to introduce simple promotional materials. You have seen how we have given you a simple poster for Discover the Bible. Have you seen the poster? Because we know the book is very heavy, you can use the poster to do a demonstration. In the Life and Health series, we did a simple demonstration kit. I believe you are using it. Are you using it? We are, every time you order books, we have been sending this free. Okay, I'm sorry, but we'll ensure that maybe I'll talk to Benita and the leaders, Dr. Mwemba. Every time you order books, we send copies of demonstration kits of the Life and Health. It is a simple paper which you can use to demonstrate the 3 books, and if you flip it over, it gives you the layout of the 3 books. We are going to add the Enjoy Life, so that instead of carrying the boy books, you can carry a simple demonstration kit. We have also done the same for Discover Your Work. Discover Your Work. I'm sorry I didn't carry it. It seems I forgot it. It was a simple demonstration tool for Discover Your Work. Apart from that, we have been sending a lot of brochures. Have you been receiving the brochures? No. Oh, I'm very sorry. We send a lot of brochures, which we hope you should be able to give to your clients. Every time you are going to the depository or the ABC, please ask for the brochures. We are sending them free. And every time the container comes, we try to send as many as possible. So please, these ones are available. We have also developed a CD. What Elizabeth is helping me to roll out is a CD. Now in the CD, Elizabeth, just go to the first page. Yeah, just go in. In the CD, we have given you a CD that has around 3 languages. I believe the leaders have it. You have English, French, Portuguese, Spanish. Now in that CD, you can do a PowerPoint presentation of all the books. We are trying to update it, of all our books. Yes. You can also do a video if you are unable to talk. If you can't talk, you just plug it in and it will talk about all the books. We also have what is called a flip book. If you're doing a group presentation, a flip book is like you're opening a book. Huh? Maybe Elizabeth will demonstrate there. And also we have a PDF. If you want to print, we have the PDF in that CD. Now this CD we are going to try and send to all our LEs. Those who are able to use them. Yeah. Now a flip book, if you're doing a public demonstration, okay, flip it now. You demonstrate as if you're opening a book. You see, that's a flip book. Now, all those features are there in one CD. That is a prospectus. But we're giving it to you in flip book, in PowerPoint, in PDF, which you can easily print, and in video. But if you need some materials urgently, we have our website, www.safeliz.com. www.safeliz.com. Now, you go to that website, register as a literature evangelist. Now, in that website, you will find a small thing written at the right hand side called LES, literature evangelist. LES, a very small one. You go in there and register as a literature evangelist. You register your name and your password, so that you can go in and get all these prospectus you need. You can download them in video form. You can load the PowerPoint. You can get the printout form. That's the PDF. Are we together? So we are trying to make these materials available for you, so that we equip you. But those who are unable to go to the website will try to avail the CDs in due course. We'll try to send them. As I finish, I want to borrow something that Uncle Brown wrote. I hope he's around. And I read it, and I want to share with you. I bumped into this material, and I found it to be very powerful. I believe he must have shared it with you, but I want to remind you. 7 habits of successful LEs, written by our own Uncle Brown. He says, the first habit that you need to develop as a literature evangelist, for you to be a champion, number 1, you need to be sincere. This is a holy work. Sister White said this is, you need to be sincere in everything that you do, in hours that you put, in the sales that you record, in the visitation that you do. You need to be sincere in your life. And this is a powerful habit that we need to develop as literature evangelists, because all of us, we need to be champions. Number 2, one of the habits we need to develop as literature evangelists, undaunted courage. You need to have a positive attitude. I realize that attitude affects our performance to a great extent. You need to develop a positive attitude. Habit number 3, you need to be a caring person. Dr. John said here the other day, you need to be a caring person. Where you realize there's a need for you to help, please help. Where there is a need for you to offer assistance, please offer assistance. And always be on the look, so that you may be able to identify areas that requires your assistance. Habit number 4, you need to be cooperative. You need to cooperate with the leaders. You need to cooperate with fellow LEs. You need to cooperate with your clients. You know, there are situations where LEs fight over orders. You know, I've worked with LEs all over my life. From the year 1997 up to now, I've been working with literature evangelists. LEs fight over orders. LEs complain a lot to the leaders. LEs even sometimes fight leaders. Sometimes they even make noise to the clients. We need to be cooperative. Habit number 5. A successful literature evangelist evaluates his work or her work on a daily basis. Every day when you come from the field, sit down, evaluate what you have done. Where the deficiencies, you improve on. Where you excel, you praise the name of God. Are we together? A successful LE takes time every day to evaluate his or her performance. Habit number 6. You develop a habit of seeing more people. Our ministry, our work depends on how many people we see, how many contacts we establish. If you sit at home, you'll never make a sale. If you sit at home, you'll never win a soul. But the more contacts we make, more souls also gets to know Christ. The final one, habit number 7. A successful literature evangelist seeks to understand. Understand who? In God. We need to spend a lot of time in communion with God. This is not a work like any other. Sister White says that this is a work second to none. And therefore, we need to spend more time with the Lord. I like what Banks Moyo said. Take your time studying the Word. And the Lord is going to bless our ministry. It's my prayer that when we get to heaven, I know we'll have crowns. And this crown will have stars. And I pray that our literature evangelists have thousands and thousands of stars representing the souls that will have known Christ through our ministry. What a joy it will be that our Elis will have golden crowns and thousands of stars. When others will have 2 stars or 3 stars, literature evangelists will have hundreds of thousands of stars. Because so many will have known Christ through you. I pray that the Lord may bless your ministry so that you may be champions. And I pray that if God allows, we meet in Johannesburg when we'll have the convention. Convention of champions. Because I believe if you're not a champion, you will not go to Johannesburg. And that is my prayer in Jesus' name. I believe we handled most of the questions, but if there is burning question, I will record and maybe handle them. Okay, let me see those who have 1, 2. Let's take those 2 and 3. Okay, I will record them.
That's 3 questions, dear friend. Amen. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mine is a very simple question. You have just been promising us that when you come to the ground, you will demonstrate more. When are you coming to the ground? Where is the ground?
Okay, second one.
Banners. If you can provide us with those banners.
Banners,
yes.
Oh, prospectus. Okay. No, this is a banner?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're talking about the prospectus.
No, I'm talking of the banners.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay.
If you can maybe provide, or maybe you have banners, because whenever you do a health expo, it's very good. It's very useful.
Okay. Thank you. The third one?
Thank you very much, but I would like to remind you that my mother here was talking mostly about your books. You see, I have health body, but it didn't take me a week to get it torn, because I use it every time, every day. So it quickly gets torn. If you could maybe, I don't know, the covers, you have to buy a new one every time when you have to do a demonstration, especially if you are using the books.
All right. Thank you so much. Because of time, we'll limit it to only those 3, please. I'll see you after this. Now, I believe this is the first time I'm saying I'm coming to the ground. Have I said that before? This is the first time I'm making a presentation in South Africa. I will organize with Dr. Mwemba and the leaders, and probably will identify a few conferences where we'll come and now talk about the individual books, tell you more about the books and the techniques you can use to demonstrate for presenters. So I think I will work with Dr. Mwemba, please, on the ground. Because here we don't have the time to do the presentation. Now banners, I'm not very sure, but wherever I go, I always encourage our earlies to learn to equip themselves. You know, I always tell them that you're the richest fellows in this church. You are richer than even Dr. Mwemba here, even the president. And I believe it is not bad if you invest some few rands just to develop your own banners, but we can give you the design. You may not be able to give banners for the whole I've seen the union has done very beautiful designs. They can send you the soft copy of the designs. Then you take to these people who make the banners. It's not very expensive. You can maybe invest some few rands to equip yourself. So maybe the union can take up that and give you the designs. But we may not be able to provide banners for everybody, but we can provide banners for the head office. Just few for the head office, but not for the literature budget. So please, you bear with us, but you can develop your own. Now, on quality, we are very conscious about quality. You know, Safeliz and quality, we go hand in hand. If there is a book that is not of good quality, that is defective, let me talk of defective, please return it. If it is defective, please return it, then they will be replaced. But if it is a book that is maybe torn because of how you handle it, maybe that's going to be a bit challenging. But I'm going to pick on what you're saying. I'll discuss more so that I know what issues of quality do you have with the healthy body, so that I may pick it up with our technical team. But we are very keen on quality. If you find any book that is defective, the binding is not proper, the pages are coming out, or there is a problem with the page, please don't present that to your client. Bring it back, we are going to replace. Because we are not in the business of giving our clients defective books. But we'll try to understand that quality thing when we meet. Yes. Thank you so much, and may the Lord bless you.